All right, we are ready to rock and roll. We're going to talk a little football. And we always talk a little InterMiami at this time every week with Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. And, of course, you can follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. You can catch her work there at the Miami Herald every single day. Michelle, good afternoon.
Hey, how are you? I just want to warn you in advance that I'm waiting for not that you're not important, you are very important, but I am waiting for a very important specific call, and if it comes, I'm going to have to go. Okay. And then if we haven't talked a long time, I can call you back after, whatever, but
you got it.
It may be coming during this time slot, so okay. I'm just warning you.
Michelle, you can just flat tell him he's not important.
Yes. I mean, my wife tells me that every day, so it's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm used to it.
Okay.
All right, Michelle. So first of all, let's get into the business of court dealings here with InterMiami CF and Inter Milan. What's that battle like? What's the realistic portion of this battle?
Right. Well, the battle, it's not in court yet. It's actually in preliminary stages of procedural talks. But yes, in last year, I wrote about this last April. This has been going on for over a year, or almost a year. Inter Milan put in, the Italian team, in 2014, they applied for a trademark in the United States to have Inter be a brand, a trademark brand of the word Inter, that 5-letter word Inter, which is their nickname. They put in an application to have that be a brand in the United States, meaning that nobody else could use the phrase Inter to market their team. So anyway, when InterMiami came along then and got the trademark for the name InterMiami, Inter Milan, the MLS tried to say that Inter was a phrase that you could not trademark because the word Inter is used by many teams around the world, and It's just short for the word international and internacional, and that it shouldn't be, that the team here should not be prohibited from using the word Inter. Anyway, so basically what's happening is now the dispute is over the word Inter, not over the phrase InterMiami. Any shirt that says InterMiami, any cap that says InterMiami, anything that has Miami in it, that is not being disputed. It's just that the team would not be allowed to market itself with the phrase Inter by itself. And so the league's position is that and the league handles this, not InterMiami itself, because the league owns the teams. So the MLS, their position is that fans know the difference between InterMiami, Inter Milan, and any other team that has Inter in it.
Of course.
And they shouldn't be able to trademark the word Inter, but they're saying that they should. In the worst case scenario, if they say you cannot use the phrase Inter to market yourself, it would have to say InterMiami. They just would not be able to have a shirt that says Inter or a hat that says Inter. So it's basically about the Inter part of their name, not about the whole name InterMiami or InterMiami CF. And I have in my story from a source that is very close to the proceedings that there is no intention whatsoever for them to give up this name. There is no reason to believe they will have to give up their name. That this is all about using just the partial part of their name with the Inter part of the name. Not the InterMiami part of the name. So there are no immediate plans nor future plans at this time to change the name or anything. They're in the very beginning stages of these proceedings, and this happened on January 3rd. On January 3rd, the U.S. Trademark Office that was dealing with this said that one of the arguments that the MLS had did not really carry much weight, so they dropped that argument. So anyway, then they appealed. They filed an appeal in the third week in January. So this is a long drawn-out battle over the word Inter. That's what this is.
Right. And I got to be honest with you. I'm not interested in Inter without Miami in it anyway. So
well, the whole team,
that's kind of what
it
makes me feel like it's my team when I hear Inter Miami, because as a soccer fan, I know of Inter Milan, so I want it to be Inter Miami, so I feel good about my team. So That's real. I don't need to talk about it in Inter. I can say Inter Miami. That's fine. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, and really the truth is that the league, way going back to the Miami Fusion days, the reason they didn't call it South Florida Fusion or the Fusion or whatever, Miami is the Miami is the word that they want to brand. Miami is the word that the MLS wants to brand, and Miami is the word that Inter Miami wants to brand.
Of course.
That is the phrase around the world that they want is Inter Miami. They want the vision of the palm trees and the turquoise water and the city of Miami and, the pink and black logo and blah, blah, blah. They want it to be a very Miami-centric team. So the key word in their name as far as branding goes is not Inter. The key word, which it is for Inter Milan, they're known as Inter because there are two teams in Milan. There's Inter Milan and there's AC Milan. So that is why AC Milan goes by AC Milan and Inter goes by Inter because there are two teams there that have the word Milan in them.
Right.
Here, there is no other team that is MLS team that is competing against them with the word Miami in it. So Miami is the word that they're using to promote the team. Miami is the word that MLS wants around the globe, not Inter. But anyway, whatever the case may be, the argument and the dispute is over the word Inter, whether they can use it by itself or not use it by itself. That is what this is about.
All right. So,
and it's really not that big of a story.
Yeah,
so,
it's really
anyway.
I'm sure they will overcome and move on. I'm not surprised. I see you wrote about a Celtic winger headed to Miami. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Lewis Morgan. He left Scotland today, and he is en route. If he's not here already, actually, because he was leaving first thing in the morning. There were pictures of him leaving at the airport with a giant American flag, like holding a giant American flag on his way to America. So, this is a young guy who was on Celtic, wanted more playing time. He's apparently talented. I mean, I haven't personally seen him play, but, he comes with good recommendations from over there. He's a guy who's played in the Scottish League, has played with Scottish national teams. And he's a winger. He's supposed to be good. He's supposed to be, talented, fast winger. And they saw something in him. And he's young, so he's not a DP, but he's a player who's been playing in Europe and is a rising young talent. The bigger news, well, I don't want to say bigger, but yeah, I guess bigger because this, would be a DP. Rodolfo Pizarro, who's from the Mexican national team, midfielder. Every indication is that he is very, very close to joining this team. He played for Pachuca. He played for Diego Alonso, the Inter Miami coach. He played for him at Pachuca and he played for him at Monterrey, both teams in Mexico. So, he's a guy that the coach knows very well, a guy that the coach clearly wants because he played for him on two different teams, and they were basically working out the exit clause from his contract. But I believe that we are days away from that guy joining the team. He is a midfielder on the Mexican national team, a talented midfielder, very, flashy, good on the ball kind of guy. And then, so that is going to happen very soon. That'll be one DP. Lewis Morgan is on his way here from Scotland. I think you saw, I don't know, since my last, no, because I just reported this a couple of days ago, but I had mentioned to you last week that Julian Carranza was injured, that he injured his foot in training camp in Port St. Lucie. And it turns out it's pretty serious. He's out for 3 months. So he's out for 12 weeks, and he's a guy that was projected to be a starting forward. So he's out for 12 weeks, probably coming back like the first week of May, around there. So they really are in need of some offensive punch. So this Mexican player is going to come. Lewis Morgan is going to come, is probably already here now, actually. Pizarro, I think, will be here in the next few days, probably. And then there is the one remaining DP that is supposed to be coming from Europe. And that is that's the last piece of the puzzle that fans here are waiting for, because the team did promise, has been promising all along a name that everyone has heard of, someone who has experience in Champions League, someone who has experience in Europe, someone who's been in the World Cup. So, somebody is substantial with a substantial resume. Not that all these players on the team, I'm sure they're good. And I've been out to the practices. They're working super hard. Some of them are emerging already as team leaders and as guys that you can tell are going to be really good players. They have a scrimmage today, closed door, but they have a scrimmage today against NYC FC, MLS team. They have a scrimmage today. And then I will be going to St. Petersburg this weekend. Will be their first public game against Philadelphia Union. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the team actually lined up against another team, see how they do, see which players stand out. That's all going to happen this Saturday at 4 o'clock in St. Petersburg at Al Lang Stadium. And it's free for anyone who wants to make the drive over there. It's free to the public at 4 o'clock at Al Lang Stadium.
Saturday, 4 p.m.?
Saturday, 4 p.m., Al Lang Stadium in St. Petersburg. It's the first time that you'll get to see this team play as a team.
What do you think, Bill?
Play against Philadelphia Union with Alejandro Bedoya on the other team.
What do you think, Bill? Do we get in the car Saturday morning, drive over to Tampa, watch InterMiami play against New York FC, and then come back?
No, it's against Philadelphia Union.
Against Philadelphia Union, I'm sorry. Against Bon Jovi and his team.
Are you against Bon Jovi? Yes, let's kick Bon Jovi's butt.
Yes. You know what? I might do that. I might just drive up there on Saturday.
I'm really curious. I'm just curious to see. I mean, we were talking yesterday to Christian Macun and asked him, he's a Venezuelan player, and so he didn't really know any of the MLS players, of course. When he got here, he was not familiar with any of these players. And we asked him, which players have stood out to you, And he said that Will Trapp, remember we talked about Will Trapp last week?
Yes.
He said that Will Trapp, that he's been very impressed with Will Trapp from the back, defensive midfielder Will Trapp, and he's also been impressed with Lee Nguyen, who is, a veteran guy from LA that, has won MLS Cups, and he said that he's really been impressed with him. And he's been impressed with Will Trapp. And then as far as players that are emerging as team leaders, are Roman Torres, who's the captain of the Panamanian World Cup team. He's a jokester. I can already tell he's a prankster, and he's also commanding the attention of all the players as a team leader. And then Luis Robles, who I mentioned from day one, the goalkeeper who comes from New York Red Bulls and was a captain there. And the way that not only just from meeting him and hearing him speak, but he's also on the executive board of the Players Union. He was just very deeply involved with negotiating their new collective bargaining agreement. So InterMiami has a guy on the team that is one of the league leaders in the Players Union, and he's a guy who's definitely commanding a lot of respect as a leader already on the team. So it'll be fun to see how this team evolves. Obviously, like I said, Lewis Morgan from Scotland is arriving today. Pizarro, I think, is going to be arriving sometime this week. I don't know that he'd be able to suit up and play on Saturday, having never practiced with the team. But he's another one that's going to be signing, I believe, in the next few days. And then what's left, honestly, in the puzzle is the one bigger name that they've been promising and that the fans have been waiting for. And I keep being told it's going to happen. The fans need to be patient, and we're doing everything we can. The puzzle pieces are coming together, and that's what's happening.
All right. I like it. I think I'm going to go Saturday. I got nothing to do. Why not, man? I'd like to go see the team for the first time.
Yeah, it's a really cool stadium, by the way, if you've never been there.
It's right on the water, right? Isn't it on the bay?
It's on the water. It is on the bay. It is literally a waterfront stadium. The little boats are bobbing around in the background. It's right on the marina, right on the water. You look out from the stadium and you see Tampa Bay with little boats in the marina. It's a very, very, very nice little stadium, and that's where the Tampa Bay Rowdies play. So they're going to play this Saturday against Philadelphia at 4 o'clock. Then they're staying in St. Pete. They're training in the St. Pete area for the whole week. The following Saturday, the 22nd, they play again there at 7 p.m. against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And then they come home, and they basically train here for 5 days, and then they have their season opener March 1st out in L.A. against LAFC, against one of the top teams from last season. that broke scoring records and won the Supporters Shield. So it's going to be a very challenging, very, very challenging opening game for an expansion team that doesn't even have all its players yet. And that game is going to be national on ESPN. So the team is going to be exposed right away. And it's interesting. It's very interesting watching a team from ground zero, from literally ground zero.
How many national games do they have?
I believe I have to look at the whole schedule, but I think they have about 15 times that you'll be able to see them on national TV this season, I believe.
I hear a lot. I hear that they are the top team in the MLS when it comes to national games.
Yeah,
that
they
have more appearances than anybody, pretty much, and maybe somebody has as many, but nobody has more national appearances than InterMiami.
Right. No, they're definitely right. There's a lot of interest in this team, of course, because of the Beckham factor and the fact that it's Miami and the fact that it's been a 6-year saga to get this team off the ground, the fact that it was the Miami Fusion and they folded and now Miami has a team again. I mean, there's a lot of interesting storylines. So, yeah, they're going to have a lot of national exposure. It'll be interesting to see how they do on the field. I mean, like I said, this Saturday is going to be very interesting because even though they keep saying this is just a scrimmage, the coach keeps like repeating over and over that these games coming up are just preseason games. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. All that matters is March 1st. Coaches always say that in the preseason. But this is a team that we've never seen them play. We have no idea what they're going to look like, what the starting lineup is going to look like, who's going to emerge off the bench, what kind of style are they going to play. So we're going to have at least an idea whether they win or lose on Saturday. We will have some sort of idea of where they stand compared to an established MLS team that is just going through a normal off-season training where, they've probably added and subtracted a few pieces, but they're basically the same team, going up against a team that literally players are still flying in from other countries, and haven't even had one practice yet. So, I would say they're a little bit behind.
Yeah.
I would say they have a lot of work to do between now and March 1st. And the fact that they're going to be on national TV against last year's Supporters Shield champion, I'd be nervous.
Hey, things could be worse. You could be Nashville. So, all right. So let's just, put it that way. At least Nashville still doesn't have a stadium, right? They've got all kinds of issues. So Miami's got 2 stadiums. One that's almost finished, and then eventually they'll get to Miami Freedom Park and they'll build that one up. So let's
by the way, I was there. Yeah, I was there. The facilities look, there's still so much construction. There are hundreds of construction workers there. You look at it and you're like, wow. They have a lot to do in a month, but they're working at a fever pitch up there. They're working like day and night as far as I can tell. There's hundreds. I think it's between 300 and 400 construction workers that are there on site. The practice fields look very nice. The actual fields, the grass is very nice. They have 6 fields, grass, and then a really nice turf field that's like NFL level turf. And there's going to be some like international friendlies that are going to be planned there for the next coming months. Stay tuned for that. And the stadium itself, they've come a long way. I was there in November, and then to go back now in January for their camp, and the other day, starting on Monday, it's pretty incredible what they've built. They still have a long way to go, but they have basically they have 4.5 weeks. March 14th is their home opener, so they basically have 4.5 weeks to get this thing done.
And listen, just so I can tell you that things aren't so bad. Not only is it the first year and this team has as many or more international appearances than anybody else on television, I want you to know how lucky we are. I believe we are the only MLS team to start the first year with an MLS team and a USL team. Nobody's done that. Nobody's done that. Nobody's done that. So,
the USL team, they're about to announce. They're very close to announcing. Also, they've been compiling. They've been signing players for the USL team because some of them have been out there training. They've had training. The practices that I've been going to, it's mostly the MLS team, but there's some other guys out there that are basically trying out and stuff and being, sort of through trials for the USL team. That's all going to be announced soon. I think they're going to announce like the whole USL roster, the coach, the coaching staff and everything. But yeah, they're going to have an MLS team playing there and a USL team playing there at the same time on different, obviously different game dates. But they're going to be training, the USL team will be training there, the MLS team will be training there, and then all of the academy players from all the age groups are also training there from age 13 to 19. So there's a lot going on up there. And there's also a lot of construction. I mean, it's a big construction zone still. There's giant trucks everywhere and giant cranes, mounds of dirt. But, they are planting lots of plants. They're trying to make it look pretty. When I was out there yesterday, there were lots and lots and lots of plants being planted along the sidewalks. And, they're doing some beautification and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. It's like I said, it's interesting to watch a team from the ground, from the beginning, which I did with the Fusion in 1997. And we're doing it again now, but on a much bigger scale.
Yeah, on a real professional scale, not that Mickey Mouse stuff that we've been dealing with for many, many, many times over and over and over again with our soccer teams. Now it's being done in a first-class fashion, man. Only Mas and Ricardo Silva have been the only two owners that I can truly say I respect what they're doing because they really care.
They put their money where their mouth. Yeah, they did. Yes. They did, and they made it. I mean, really, Ricardo Silva too, with what he did with FIU Stadium.
Awesome.
Miami FC 2 years ago. That was a great. I was there when they had 10,000 people there watching a game, and they were beating MLS teams. They were beating
Cincinnati,
MLS
baby. Took down Cincinnati. Took down Orlando.
Yes, they took down 2 MLS teams at FIU Stadium, and he really put a lot into it. And I'm actually going to write a couple stories coming up about Miami FC. They have some interesting players who have signed with them, and so that's going to be really interesting. Anyway, I have to go take this call right now.
Go. Do your thing.
All right.
Love you.
Take care.
You.
We'll be in touch. Okay, bye.
You got it. Michelle Kaufman. Look at that. She got her call, but at the end of the segment, yeah.